Hi, everybody. Welcome to Badgerpod Nerdcast number 34, The Rule of 34. I am your host, Brian Martinez, and I am joined here by our panel of hosts, co-hosts. So I'm going to quickly go around and pass the potato out of the potato gun at people as we do our quick introductions. We can get right to the meat of this potato, which has no meat in it. Okay, so I'm Brian.
But there could be.
There probably will be inside of this potato. I am
just so you know.
Yeah.
Just so you guys know, I am currently shipping Mike and Brian's voices.
Oh, okay. Well.
They're doing unspeakable things to each other in my head.
My tone. All right, so I am Brian Martinez. I am the host of the Nerdcast and the Gamergate show. I also have a webcomic called goodguycomics.com, and I'm an illustrator and a nerd and a student and a concierge and a really busy motherfucker. Yeah, I mean, that's basically the long and the short and the thick of it. So I'm going to pass the potato.
Like your penis? Sorry, okay.
Oh my God.
I'm going to go ahead and pass my potato onto Dr. Randermacam.
I don't even know what I do anymore. Can anyone help me out? What do I do?
You make funny things, and then I draw pictures for them sometimes.
That's right, yeah.
Yes.
I yell at people. I harass them.
I'm also a dog occasionally.
You animate things. And you stick your finger in people's ears and tickle their brains.
Yes.
There you go.
I'm real 34 in that right now.
Yes, there you go.
Pass the potato.
Oh yeah, sorry, I'll pass the potato to Rachel because she's talking already. Go, Rachel.
Hi. I'm Rachel Edwards, and being the perverted sexual deviant that I am, I have been involved in in this sort of shipping stuff for a very long time, and I write a blog and things, and yeah, I do the things. And now people are thinking that I'm doing other things to the things, but not yet. And there's still time in this cast for that, for me to do things to the things. So, and I will pass this over to Anna, because she does other things with things.
Yeah, it's true. Much like Rachel, I'm also into butt stuff. So.
And Karen.
And tentacles. And I'm a massive furry, so this is going to be uncomfortable for people maybe because I'm.
Wait, you're a furry? You didn't tell us?
Oh, it's huge! I'm gonna drip all over this topic.
Okay,
guys.
can I be really rude? Did you
Please.
suck all the hotness out of the furry community into yourself or something? Oh my God, that.
I don't understand.
I'm just being a complete and utter cunt. Don't mind me. Not towards you, but towards furries in general.
There we go.
Okay,
I
I'm
wasn't
gonna crawl.
sure exactly. I sensed the cuntness, but I wasn't sure where it was directed at. That's the part I
No,
was like.
no, it's not directed at you. I'm saying that because
It doesn't thrill you. It's like the people there are not like super extra hot. Is what you're saying? Gently.
Yeah, gently. I didn't think that was gently. I thought that was more of a sledgehammer to the face sort of thing to say. But I predict that I'm going to be getting a lot of hate mail and Allison.
A lot of things to the face.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like that's why MLP made season 5 because they were tired of people like talking shit about the furries that are into MLP. Maybe I don't know.
What did you say, Mike? I heard you speak up.
I said you don't fuck with the furry lobby.
No, I
don't
fuck with furries,
to
man.
find a severed furry head in my mail in the future.
No, they like them too much. It'll probably be a human head.
Oh,
Well,
God.
to be fair, I haven't quite gotten up to the like full bodysuit with the head mask thing. That is I don't know. No, too much. I like more human-esque furries. So like I guess humanoid.
Anthro.
Yeah, anthro definitely. Like,
Aliens with
Avatar,
ears?
Magic, like like a Johnny. Oh my God, he's so sexy. So yeah, and MLP. The other day looked for a reaction GIF on Tumblr of MLP, and I got a lot of what I didn't expect, but I liked it a lot.
I
So,
like this. Did it
yeah,
involve Big Macintosh by any chance?
no, but Macintosh is sexy.
You've been
like, I don't know
clopping
what it is about him. He's like laid back and yep. Like I don't know. I like him. He's great.
Anna
So
is
yeah, I'm a pervert. That's what I am. I'm a pervert.
Oh my God, you're a pervert, is what you are. You're a pervert and a clopper.
And
yep. And
and
like you're Hannah and a cunt. I'm a cunt for hire.
Well, okay, now we go to Hannah, I guess, and Allison. And wait, did Allison already go?
no, I didn't go. I just insulted people.
Well, now
That
you
doesn't
go.
count.
And then Hannah can go.
All right. Well, I am the. My name is Allison Tiemann. I'm the writer and artist of a science fiction webcomic named Xenospora. I also sort of had the original idea to do Honey Badger Radio, which is why you're listening to us now. So yeah, you can send your severed furry heads to my address and to express your displeasure with any of my activities. And I'll throw this to Hannah.
Hi, I'm Hannah Wallen, and by the way, Allison, they're more likely to come and find you and hug you until you relent. But I write Breaking the Glasses at breakingtheglasses.blogspot.com, and also for Honey Badger Radio and A Voice for Men and all kinds of other stuff because I'm everywhere. And since I'm last, I get to eat the potato. So I guess back to Brian.
Okay, well,
You
thanks.
want to know what we put in that potato, Hannah.
Yeah, I was just thinking. I mean, you're really putting your life on the line there.
Well, that reminds me.
Considering what might be in or on it.
I dared a boy to have sex with a cantaloupe, and he did. So who knows what we did to that potato?
You never know.
That's not sour cream in it, you guys.
I ate an earthworm once. I don't care.
So, guys, since we stand against circumcision, please don't send us your severed furry heads. We hope that you keep them. So I'm going to go ahead and get the topic started. We're going to talk about Rule 34. And Rachel, of course, the most qualified person who has done a write-up for Rule 34.
Yes, I have. I probably should have put more innuendo in this shit. But here you go.
Because
Rule
you
30
like it innuendo, right?
Yes, I do. Rule 34, Shipping and the Rise of the Superfan. Rule 34 is one of the many rules on the rules of the Internet, going back as far as 2004. The idea being that if it exists, there is porn of it, no exceptions. And if there is not porn of it, it must be created. Now, surely these are unofficial rules, but that doesn't mean that people don't embrace it. The idea of shipping and creating weird porn has been around since dedicated fans of anything existed. Fanfiction itself has been around at least as early as 1740. Examples of slash fiction and shipping could be seen emerging in fans of Star Trek in the 1970s and was also written about other shows of the time. Fanfiction is the writing of fiction with pre-existing characters from another work. Shipping is when people imagine characters from a fictional work as being romantically linked, even when it's obviously not canon. They might then write fanfiction depicting that couple in a romantic relationship. Slash fiction is when the two characters in question were of the same sex, with Kirk and Spock being an early favorite. Cartoon pornography of pre-existing characters could be seen as early as the 1930s in Tijuana Bibles, maybe even earlier than that. The short comics depicted sex acts between well-known characters of the time, like Donald Duck, Popeye, Mickey Mouse, Betty Boop, and Little Orphan Annie. So when the internet arrived, the distribution of these various types of erotica became a lot easier, and communities of artists and writers began springing up online. Now, not only are people aware of fanfiction and shipping, but actors who play the characters sometimes give into fan service, where they indulge a fan pairing. The presence of fan erotica has been referenced in everything from comic books to television. Even some professional writers are now indulging in the communities, while some writers like George R.R. Martin are entirely against it, asking that any fanfiction of their characters be deleted. Fan erotica has become such a thing now that a novel which began as Twilight fanfiction has turned into 3 best-selling novels and a movie adaptation. Oh yeah, I'm talking about the infamous 50 Shades of Grey. The writing of the final season of Legend of Korra was heavily influenced by a fan shipping of Korra and Asami, as well as 2 gender-swapped episodes of Adventure Time, which leaves one to wonder about the effects of these communities and the lasting impact they might have on the state of popular culture. In short, with the popularity of fan erotica, and with the ability to distribute it at one's fingertips, there really are no exceptions. There you go. We've opened the floodgates. This is there's so much to go into. I think maybe we can start probably by explaining our first encounter with this sort of thing. And I can start.
Yeah, please.
My first encounter with like fan erotica being on the internet, I was way too fucking young to be reading it. Way too young. And I guess that explains so much for people. But I found it when I was on the internet. I found fan fiction. I think the first ones that I really started noticing were Sailor Moon stuff, and I started noticing that there were pairings between characters that couldn't possibly be linked. Like, I think it would be something like Sailor Moon and Sailor Mars, and just a lot of different pairings were around, and then there would be a bunch of pairings for Dragon Ball Z fanfiction. So I read a great deal of fanfiction early on. I was like 13, 14 years old, and I stumbled upon the porn. And that was a really interesting thing for me. And it just was... What was that? Say that?
I wanted to ask a question. Now that you're saying this, I just had a thought. Is
Mm-hmm.
this before or after, and I'm going to say it's probably after, in Japan, they have like a lot of, they call them doujin or doujinshi.
Yeah,
Basically like hentai doujin, that basically you have artists that are big fans of like various series, and they basically make them into porn stories, or they take them from video games or other like sources. Do you think that that is related to this in some way? Like there's some...
I think they all sort of play into each other. I think the capacity and the thought process of fan fiction and writing it, and then of course writing what they call lemons, which are whenever it's a straight up porn, they're having sex. I think that's already there. I think all of these sort of come from the exact same place of really liking a story or a universe and wanting to play around with it. But yeah, doujin definitely, I think, plays into this. But a lot of the stuff that I noticed early on, because that was my interest. But then Harry Potter came out. And so when Harry Potter came out, I was already on fanfiction.net. And then I started seeing, probably the most disturbing thing was, or at least it was disturbing to me, was Draco Harry. And not because they were gay, but because they were, there was no way you could imagine a relationship, at least in my mind. There was no way that you could construe any of their interactions as being a romantic relationship or a romantic interest. And I remember trying to read some of this, and it was just so badly written. And that's another thing. The people writing this, I think there's 2 different kinds of fanfiction writers. There's the really, really young writers who have never written anything, who are really, really bad at it. And then there are the people who have been around in these communities for a long enough time and do this just, for fun, and they're decent at it. They're like, okay, whatever. They just enjoy it. Whereas, you also have the younger writers who are really, really bad at it. Some of which who have never had sex, and it becomes incredibly obvious. These people have never had sex in their lives. But that would be my earliest stumbling upon this sort of pornography online. The Rule 34. And we'll get to the weirdest stuff later, but I'll pass the potato to somebody else, like whoever wants it.
Okay, Anna, go take it away.
I want the potato. I love potatoes. So Attack on Titan, yeah, I'm totally a potato girl. Anyway, so I don't actually necessarily have the same experience with fanfiction in the same way because of growing up where I did and like in Russia and stuff. And I remember more my first experience with just, like just straight up porn in general. But I did also read a Russian author who wrote erotica, and I really liked her stuff. And it was like very BDSM-y and awesome in some of it. And then in some other parts of it, it had somebody who was almost like Aslan from Chronicles of Narnia, like a lion man person. And the female was, so it was like, think of it as a kitten and a lion, but written from a perspective of a woman and her daddy, for instance. So you have like, they described as, the animals that they were, but the relationship and the dynamics were more of like a sexual partnership relationship, like that way. And it was awesome. And also the more BDSM stuff had the female acting as a kind of like a cat dog type of like pet, submissive. So that explains a lot about me as well, because I was reading that stuff when I was like 14. And so that was awesome, and it was sort of like already going into the freedom and the like fan fiction, but not directly, because that kind of thing to me was only an American in the past like 5 to 10 years thing. Because whenever I would watch shows, or like even Sailor Moon growing up as a kid, and Russia or whatever other cartoons, I would relate to a particular character, and then I would be attracted to whoever else in the show. And so there was never really a concept of shipping or couples, or, I mean, obviously Sailor Moon was with Tuxedo Mask, but I was like relating more to Sailor Mars. So in a sense, I shipped Sailor Mars and Tuxedo Mask because I thought he was awesome and I was Sailor Mars, So it was more of that kind of way of shipping. I mean, but it wasn't until the past 5 to 10 years and living in America and watching, being like immersed in the nerd community and the sci-fi community, and especially Tumblr, becoming aware of relationships and shipping, especially in the past 2-3 years. So that's certainly kind of a newer thing in that sense. And I plan to write my own fan fiction about my Skyrim character and her familiar whatever. So I'm planning on that sort of thing, but it's kind of new to me also. So I don't know. That's about all I got about that, I guess.
Okay, just for general context to people who are wondering what Rule 34. Did we already explain what Rule 34 is?
Yes. It was in
if it exists, there is porn of it, no exceptions. And if porn does not already exist of this, it must be created.
That's Rule 35, by the way.
Yes.
Not just a supplement to.
Yes, just Rule 35.
Yes. But I actually remember the jarring sort of moment where I saw, this was within the last 10 years, where I saw a picture or a GIF or some sort of banner on the side of a porn site, or a torrent or something, that had like Marge Simpson or something from The Simpsons or some sort of cartoon characters fucking, and it blew my mind. I was like, holy shit, you can do that. That is awesome. So anyway, that's it for me.
Speaking of which, I suppose my first experience with Rule 34 was when Ren and Stimpy Rule 34'd itself. Season 6.
Oh my god, yes! That
Season
was
6,
so
Episode
disgusting.
1. Timestamp 1701. You can look it up for yourself. Ren throws a baseball up Stimpy's ass and then well and truly fucks him.
Wait. Run that by me again? What are the specifications of this?
Well, if you look up...
man?
If you look at Ren and Stimpy, the episode's called Onward and Upward. You have to skip all the way to the 17th minute. But they actually do a scene where Ren comes out from behind the dressing sort of screen, dressed as a baseball player, and then Stimpy does this sort of imaginary, sort of imagines him as a big ripply, muscly guy. And then I forget what the dialogue is. I've got it here actually. I'll put the link.
I think I recall this, and I think that Stimpy actually had like a baseball glove on his ass.
Yes, that's correct. So I wasn't particularly surprised when the internet came along and started doing this. I'm like, yeah, I was watching Ren and Stimpy when I was fucking 14. Like, yeah, well.
Pitcher and catcher, yeah.
It's much like Bert and Ernie from Sesame Street, except they never actually went all the way, but Ren and Stimpy did because of the 0 fucks that Ren and Stimpy give.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they actually did an internet only cartoon in which they make it even more explicit than that. It's it's still not full on sex. It's still got a ridiculous pun in it because Remy has a Ren has a strap-on saw. Like literally, it's a saw that's a strap-on, and
I think
Snoopy
I remember
has a log balanced on his butt cheeks, and Ren starts sawing the log.
I think that was season 6 as well. It got cancelled to oblivion after that season. I think they knew
Oh my gosh! How could they cancel that?
I think they started doing this because they knew they were going to get cancelled, so they thought, fuck
For
it.
the children.
We're
It's
going to
for the
slash
children.
everything.
You know what's even worse, though? I was actually watching, at least I began watching Ren and Stimpy when I was like 5 years old. So
I think they probably got canceled because they ran out of things that would be more outrageous than the things they had already done.
all the fucked upness was there. I grew up with it. And I loved every moment of it.
Yeah. Well, Ren, you can't. It's hard to come back from Ren and Stimpy because they certainly they got away with a lot of things. I wonder if the people doing the network sending out those supposed kids cartoons ever clued in.
Well, all kids
so
love
blatant.
Log.
Yeah, but it was Ren and Stimpy made it so blatant. Like, how could the censors not notice?
Oh, there are other things in that show that got by censors. There's so much stuff that got by censors. Oh my god, so many jokes. So
because
many
it's
weird
so much
things.
more acceptable if you do it in a cartoon.
Like, remember skinny dipping? The skinny dipping episode? That was so weird.
Okay, so which of us ship Ren and Stimpy?
I think it's canon now.
Yeah, you're right. It's canon. That doesn't count as Rule 34.
He's too abusive to Stimpy. I don't ship them at all together. I ship Stimpy and the horse.
Okay.
No, sir, I don't like it.
Aww.
What about Powder Toast Man? Yeah, maybe he needs some love.
The guy who created that show, his whole thing was trying to get away with as much as possible. And when he had, I forget his name, but there was nudity in an episode of Ren and Stimpy that never made it on the air, where they had to, like, I think they were oiling down women or something, and they were, like, straight up topless. Also, he did the Mighty Mouse Adventures, and he got away with a lot of weird shit on there, too. So,
You know who I ship the legs from Tom and Jerry with something. I'm not sure with what, but I feel like those legs, maybe
the legs from Tom and Jerry with
sock
Miss
suspenders.
Bellum.
With the what?
With Miss Bellum from, like, Powerpuff Girls, where you never see her face, but you never see the rest of, from Tom and Jerry either, unless it's Mammy. So yeah, like, there you go. Or maybe the legs.
The legs? What do you mean?
Or maybe the legs from
Tom's owner?
Muppet Babies. Like, remember you had Nanny in Muppet Babies, and, like, you never saw her face or anything. You always just saw her stockings.
Like the neighbor from Home Improvement.
Okay. You could ship the legs with each other.
Yeah, there you go. Now they're a pair.
Yeah.
Pair.
now they're a couple of legs, and also
Before
a couple.
you know it, we're going to start shipping Muppets, and that way lies darkness.
Yeah,
not really. Well, no, I think
that one got past.
Nanny was a human. Okay, she was not a Muppet. So I mean, it's not really.
No, but that darkness has been passed around on the internet for 20 years.
Yeah.
Shipping the Muppets.
And there's Disney.
Here's an idea. Okay, I got an idea. How about you ship a Muppet with the hand that's using it?
That makes it real. That breaks the wall, man.
Isn't that just the show anyway?
See, now we've gone off track.
We got started, you know.
Why do you
If
think
you've
they're
got
all so
your hand-
hyperactive?
If you got your hand entirely inside someone, then for all intents and purposes, you're already fucking them, aren't you?
Yeah, that's true.
I think that's fisting.
Like forearm fucking them. I think that counts.
Well, I've already shipped Tim Schafer and his sock puppet. So I mean, like, where it's all downhill from there.
Yeah, it's
Literally.
people are gonna find us in some sort of flop house with strewn with stained paper and pencils, crying and vomiting all over ourselves. We can't stop the shipping.
We'll call it art.
No, I was totally shipping Allison's, Brian's, and Mike's voice together. in the threesome of symphony, of voice
Yeah.
in this. Yeah.
But you have to realize the shipping.
Wait. And then whose voice do you ship mine with?
Oh, that giggle. Oh, Oliver's.
Oh, very nice. Very well done. That's excellent. Of course, we're talking about just the voices, just the disembodied auditory waves.
Like
Not
making music in air.
Yeah.
Like slug sex, you guys. Do yourselves a favor, look up slug sex. A, it's narrated by David Attenborough, win. B, it is gorgeous and fluorescent, and seriously, look it up.
I've watched snail sex.
Well, that's what I mean, actually. No, slug. They do the same thing, right?
I don't know. I don't know if
They go up a tree and across the tree branch, and then they hang down on the slime, right?
Yes. that.
Yes, that.
So
Everyone
wait,
can try it. You need a lot of Vaseline, but you can do it.
That sounds like what's that?
darts as well.
What's
Rachel.
that thing where the Japanese woman covers herself in oil and gives you a guy a massage and it inevitably turns into sex, but it's like super slimy? You know what I'm talking about? Nobody knows.
Okay, this isn't Rule 34 anymore. We're like totally off track.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Unless
Others, please express your first encounter with Rule 34.
Go ahead, Brian.
Oh, all right. I didn't want to go after Ren and Stimpy. That's sort of like being Dane Cook and coming out after Jackie Mason. But, okay. I actually, when I was listening to this, I didn't really give it a lot of thought that I had a lot of experience with it at all. But now that I think of it, I predate the internet by a long time, and I guess I was doing it in my head subconsciously without knowing. One of the first times I ever even considered fictional characters having like a pornographic encounter was actually Barney Rubble and Wilma Flintstone. Because she ended up pregnant, and they never explained how, and I thought something must have happened there. And so that was my first thought of it, and then when it came to the internet itself, then I started seeing cartoon porn of, it was actually like Hanna-Barbera cartoons, mostly Flintstones, and that was my first encounter with it, was actually the Flintstones, yeah. So it was like, Fred and Wilma and Barney and Betty were swapping spouses, and I remember thinking, this is okay. Like, I don't know, like I wasn't, but I had to be in my mid-20s by the time I saw that.
I was about to say, that expanded your notion of sexuality, but then you said 20s, I was like, oh.
No, I had already had plenty of experience, but because I'm older, so I didn't really. And then even when the internet was in its infancy, mostly it was people talking, like in chat rooms and stuff, and people pretending to be other people, but you knew they weren't, right? So I think that was but like if for me, I didn't read any fanfic stuff or /fic stuff, but images was like my thing. I've always been a visual person, so. Yeah, it was the Flintstones, sadly. And then, like, Scooby-Doo, like, after that. Like, all that cast.
I could never get into Scooby. It's just the worst cartoon ever.
It's a pretty bad cartoon, to be honest.
Only Rugrats is worse, to be honest.
But, yes, that was my experience.
Made on Klasky Supka. They had a very interesting art style.
And it's funny, because there was already live-action porn of that, and I'd seen that before I saw this.
Rugrats and Muppet Babies.
The Flint Bones.
Just shipping the Rugrats and the Muppet Babies. Why not?
That's really twisted.
You can only ship them with other babies, because otherwise it's just wrong. So, like Looney Tune babies and Rugrats. I'm sure there's one for everyone.
No. Maybe when they're grown up.
It's like Teen Titans, which they did.
We're getting in so much trouble for this. You know this, right?
Yeah.
Shipping doesn't have to be sexual. Just what if they have
You're right. Shipping doesn't. It could be just purely romantic.
Oh, okay. So just shipping. Just shipping is fine.
Besides, what are they gonna do? Put us on double secret probation?
Take us to detention.
No more shipping on the radio. You're not allowed. Never mind.
Breakfast Badger Club.
Bad Badgers.
All right.
I also saw, an anime called Ranma 1/2 made me think about that sort of thing in a really sort of unilateral way because there's a lot of sex changes going on in that show. So there's another one. And then I think my first like doujin was something called Battle Athletes. Have you guys ever heard of that?
Nope.
So yeah, I got bombarded with shit. I'm gonna walk away now.
Okay,
Wow,
do you want me to-
awkwardly
He'll be in his bunk. No, I know what you're talking about with room 1.5 though. That
Okay.
was a big deal.
Do you want me to go now?
Yes.
I don't actually really have a very clear understanding or memory of when I first saw Rule 34. I think it might have been in relation to Slayers. I think it was. No, I think it was just Slayers. It's the one with Lena Inverse and Gowry, the big blonde dumbass swordsman, and Lena is the short, fiery, red-headed sorceress who's also incredibly destructive. There was just a brief. They briefly showed an image of Gowry gazing lovingly at Zil Gladys, who is just another male character in the show, and I was like, what? What the fuck is this? And so I went on the internet. I'm like, what's going on here? And someone said, well, yeah, that's just yaoi. And then so I looked up yaoi, or however the hell you pronounced it, and that's sort of how I got into that side of the Rule 34. I think before that I had understood the concept of shipping. I'm not sure if I had actually been involved in any shipping or / communities at that point. I did get involved later because I actually really love to do. I think people who've listened to this podcast know that I really love to write horrible / fiction that only serves to annoy and aggravate the fans because it doesn't actually contain any sex. Yeah, so like I wrote a 200,000 word / fanfiction novel of Red Dwarf. Doesn't actually have sex between Rimmer and Lister in it, ever, but it is a / fiction. So it's like a 200,000 page troll of the community. And yeah, I don't think they like me very much. Anyway, that's the kind of stuff I like to write. I like to write the really, really crazy shit, like The Arbiter and Master Chief / fan fiction. I did that. And sorry?
Oh no, I'm just like, you did? Like, seriously?
Yes, I did. I did indeed, and it is
I'd be interested
terrifying.
in getting my hands on that.
No, I don't think so. It's truly. Well, okay, fine. I'll show it to you.
All right.
It's truly fucked
me
up. It is fucked up, and I wrote it to be totally fucked up.
I'm okay with.
So there you go. That's me.
I didn't quit Game of Thrones after the Red Wedding. I'm okay with fucked up.
Yeah. Well, this is The Arbiter is like, okay. Anyway, never mind. I'll let you read it. I'll let it speak for itself.
Oh Lord, here we go.
I think that's everybody. I think that's everybody's.
No, did Hannah speak? Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, Hannah. No, Hannah did.
My story's not quite as clear or exciting as any of the rest of yours because I was fairly young actually when I first came across any kind of cartoon porn or anything, and I'm not sure the book was actually supposed to be where it was. I was in a public library, and for context, I used to have a huge collection of like the cartoon books, like the Garfield books and stuff like that. But I had Belvedere the dog, and Sad Sack comics, and which have disappeared, which really sucks. And I had like old Marmaduke books, and oh gosh, Hagar the Horrible, all kinds of stuff like that. And I had there was the little books that were like paperback books of the Charlie Brown series and everything. And when I couldn't go out and buy books, if I didn't have money for books, I would go check books like that out of the library along with the other multitude of things that I used to like to read. And that's the section that I was in. And there was a book of Popeye the Sailor cartoons. And I thought, oh, this is really cool. And I pick it up, and I start flipping through it, and there's a dick. I'm like, wait a minute. This does not look anything like what's on television. I must have been I was still in elementary school, and yeah, pop up the Sailor Man. But I started looking through that book. I was like, well, this is new, and I'm trying to figure out where it came from, because this is not a hand drawn anything. It's actually a published printed book. And it was pretty graphic. There were actual sex scenes in there. There was Brutus was the name, not Bluto, so it was the old Popeye, and it was just very, very graphic. And when I realized, wait a minute, other people might notice me looking at this and I might get in trouble for this, I very quietly put the book back where I found it and went about my business. But after that, I was a little more aware of the possibility of there being pornographic versions of cartoon characters and everything. I didn't see probably another thing like that until the internet, which was years later. But yeah, that was my first experience with Rule 34. Was discovering that someone had actually created a published book of Popeye the Sailor Man porn, and somebody saw fit to put it in the library in my hometown.
Okay, well, let's answer that question. We need to segue from the Popeye the Sailor Man porn.
It was a very strange experience, I'll just say that. Yeah, the question, Yo by Axis asked, hey, honey badgers, what would you do if you found Rule 34 of yourselves?
Happened for Karen.
Yeah, we have some. Karen has some. She's the female Big Mac and she was shipped with Mr. Tentacles. And that was interesting. It had a bit of a story. It was sort of cute and a little funny. So it was nice.
And then there was another time that we suggested, Allison suggested Rule 34 of some kind, and that was made. We're not going to describe it.
No, we're not going to describe it. But yeah, it shall remain the anonymous Rule 34 that we received and would never display to the public. But yeah, I'm not actually. We looked at the what was it? You sent through this.
Yeah. Rule 34 .pahale, I think I can't remember, whatever. But yeah, the official Rule 34 site, where they have a ton of Rule 34, actually has a tag for the Badgers, but most of it is not. Actually, none of it is explicitly porn, in the sense of it's never more than suggestive.
Well, I mean, the thing is that I don't know. Why don't you make it and we'll find out how we'd react.
Okay.
There you go. Well, what else can you say?
You're egging them on?
I may be egging them on. That might be what I'm doing right now. Possibly.
Yeah. Next thing you know, there's gonna be like cartoon porn of Dr. Random Cam's Badgers and the evil panda and whatever else. Like, I don't know, like the big red Yeti.
That's
the big red Yeti.
Now you've said it. Now you've said all of these things. All of these things are going to exist. That's the rule. They call it a rule for a reason, Rachel. You've done it now.
Well, I've already imagined it in my mind, so whatever. I know, you're right, I'm a pervert.
You're getting ahead of the curve, that's all.
I know.
Well,
No.
I said our fan's name wrong. It's Yobi Axes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so Eric Martin says, you know that one of our fellow fans is going to Rule 34 you guys now. Well, bring it on.
Yeah, bring it on.
Bring it on. Yeah, I think we can roll with the punches. We're not going to say that. We're not going to suddenly turn to the Rule 34 of us and say this is evidence that the internet is going to try to rape and murder us.
I'll be impressed.
I'll be impressed. Yeah, I'm probably going to. I think you guys think we're more attractive, at least I am, than. I mean, sorry, okay, I've already just fucked up that. Erase that. Let's shake up the Etch-a-Sketch of your mind. Let me start again. I think our fans make us more attractive than we actually are. Mm-hmm. Except for Anna.
You've only seen us on camera.
Yeah.
People are much better looking on camera than they are in real life.
Except
Contrary to
The
popular belief.
opposite. I don't know.
I don't know. Mike looks not bad, and Anna doesn't look bad either. And
Yeah,
I think it's the opposite. It's much better in real life because you get to see people's 3 dimensions and something is lost in the camera, 2-dimensionality of it. When people turn their heads, like there's attraction is lost, I think, through cameras.
and Karen doesn't look bad either.
Either way, I think you guys all look fabulous. So.
That's what I think.
Aw.
We love you too, Hannah. Your
Aww.
hair is glorious.
Okay.
True. Even me, I think so.
All right, so
Yeah,
Great
my
Smith
hair.
Daniel says, here's a question. How is it that the honey badgers are all gorgeous people? And I think that ties into what I said before. I don't know. And then he says they have all been sculpted from rage. Yes, we are all sculpted. We are all...
Honestly, if I ever appeared in a Rule 34, I would be so honored. It's not even funny.
You know,
I
we
would
could
feel
just
as though I truly
cut
leveled up.
Yeah, I'm just thinking sculpted
We
by
could just
rage.
cut
Yeah.
corners here, and then you guys could just make it furry porn. Just
There
make
you
us
go.
like badgers or whatever, like actual
honey
badgers.
badger porn at the same time.
Or MLP honey badger porn
Yeah.
and
Honey
oh God,
ponies.
there you go.
Honey badger
Okay.
ponies.
So we've all been sculpted by rage and passion
And ponies.
into I don't know
But rage ain't pretty.
razor sharp whips of people. I don't know who the fuck. I'm losing it. I'm losing the thread here.
I
don't
feel like
know.
I've been whittled out of discomfort.
Will out of discomfort. Okay, I'm hearing an echo. Oh, it's Anna.
I feel
And
like I've
I'm
been
moving
forged out of boredom.
Ah, yes. We've been whittled to a finely tuned something machine from the tools of rage and boredom.
Yes.
There you go. Yes. Something,
Something like that.
etc. Yeah, exactly.
So Rule 34, because that always works.
I don't think you
Okay,
can.
next question. I sense a lull in the energy
I
of
was
the
just
conversation.
I was just gonna say, I don't think you can Rule 34 wrong, can you? Like, there's no wrong way to do that, is there?
Nope. Unless other people are upset at you and then they bitch at you and you're like, fuck off.
Yeah, I don't think you can do this incorrectly. I mean, the whole idea is that there's porn. It doesn't have to be good porn, just porn.
Yeah, half of my Tumblr's like anime, like Sakura and what's her face just now, and then like Korra and Asami, and like that's just life, and it's glorious.
Most of the Rule 34 stuff I've looked up is actually pretty freaking badly drawn, so I just kind of like forgive it.
It's good though. Like every now and then there's like really good stuff. Like I think it's usually the longest lasting pairings are the ones that probably have like the best porn overall. Like I've seen some pretty decent Bulma and Vegeta stuff. Like that's pretty
Yeah,
decent.
but that's not Rule 34. They have a kid on the show. It's canon.
That is true. That is true. But there's also
Okay, so
other
let's
pairings.
get into some minutia. Let's get into some minutia here. Does Rule 34 include characters that on the show are demonstrably having sex with each other? Like if it's canon, if the characters are...
Yeah. If it's canon, of course there's going to be porn of it, but I would imagine that it still counts as Rule 34.
I think with
But it's
34,
not specifically weird. But it's not specifically weird because it's going to be there anyway.
Yeah, what does other people think here?
I think it more means, well, I mean, it's true, of course, but to underscore, I think we're going through one true pairing versus something else here, and it's more of a splitting hairs thing, where some people might not be aware of the fact that Rule 34, what it more means is things that you wouldn't expect to have in porn are in porn. So that's kind of, I think, more of a bottom line for Rule 34, is that, and that's why you can have pretty much, like, the strangest things through that.
Also
sort of
differing from the norm. Like anything differing from normal vanilla missionary position, like getting into really, really weird variations of the porn, definitely shifts into Rule 34 territory.
Well, there's only I think it only gets so popular before it's inevitable that porn will exist of it. Like, and with shows like Ren and Stimpy, it's only a case of 6 seasons before they start doing it. But with most things, it's several years and then the internet before it starts happening. But yeah, if you can think of
they
a
did
show,
it on the
then
show.
if you can think of any show that's been broadcast or something, then that show is famous enough for porn to exist of it.
So
Right. Let's do something with the audience. Let's do some audience interaction, guys. Let's get the audience to give us some two things that they want us to do, like a really quick story about how the romantic relationship or the sexual, like a little like a little short Rule 34 fic.
Yeah, like
we'll just
passing
make
around,
up on the
add a
spot.
few sentences to the story amongst each other, right?
Yeah, sure. Let's do that. So, guys, if you're in the chat, send us two anythings that you would like us to do a really quick thing, really quick, like little
Impromptu
fiction about
improv fanfic.
Improv.
Don't do anything that we've seen a million times. No.
Okay, well, we already got something that I don't think we have. We got Rule 34, Andrea Dworkin, cockholding Bob Chipman. Okay, well, I don't know who Bob Chipman is. Who is Bob Chipman?
Movie Bob.
Oh my God. Okay, gotcha. So who wants to take that? Who wants to take? I'm setting the scene. Okay, so Movie Bob is coming home, and he finds Andrea Dworkin in the passionate embrace of what? A enormous submarine sandwich, an entire tub of like a literal bathtub full of Ben and Jerry's ice cream. What is she passionately embracing?
Jerry's ice cream mixed with male tears that she's been
an ostrich.
collecting.
An ostrich.
I was gonna say the drama llama. Include the drama llama.
That's their pet. There is some bestiality involved.
This has escalated quickly.
Yeah. Let's not include the bestiality. So let's just in case somebody does listen
But you're
to us.
doing Andrea Dworkin. I thought we were already at bestiality. I thought.
How about Andrea Dworkin cheating on Bob Chipman with Valerie Salinas?
In front of him, cuckolding. You can't have this pussy, Bob.
Who have you killed, Bob?
Are they in a tub of male tears?
Oh my God, Moot and Twilight
mixed with ice
Sparkle.
cream.
There you go. I got this shit. Moot and Twilight Sparkle.
Go for it.
Moot was sad after leaving 4chan behind, and then he falls into some kind of weird time vortex thing and ends up in Ponyville and finds Twilight Sparkle there, and he just becomes in love with the plot. And by that plot, I mean he's all up on that pony ass. He's like, Twilight Sparkle, I simply can't live without you. And she's like, oh my God, who the fuck are you? You're some kind of weird. You're some kind of...
Get this guy away from me.
He's like,
Okay,
yeah,
all right, you gotta figure out the point of attraction between Moot and Twilight Sparkle. There's got to be something there that makes them make sense. I don't really know Moot very well, so
what's a
throw
Moot?
some ideas at me.
Okay, Moot is the guy, founder of 4chan. Yeah,
Oh.
like he...
Vivian's daddy?
Well, well, what? Huh?
Vivian Jane's dad?
No.
No.
Well, no, because if she's the daughter of 4chan, I mean...
No, she's the daughter of V, and that's a very different story.
Well,
Yeah. But anyway, we're getting away from the Rule 34 into
I
too
don't know.
much
I
backstory.
don't know why.
What kind of-
Sorry, I don't know exactly what the attraction is. I guess he would just.
well, okay, no, easy. Obviously, they both love information and books, and like one... obviously, Mood comes to Ponyville and is like, hey, Twilight Sparkle, check what I got. All these books of yours in the library that keep, like, falling out of the damn tree library every fucking time anything happens, which most of the time includes Rainbow Dash. That shit, look at this, it's all digital, bitch. And she'd be like, whoa, oh my God, I'm so wet. Fuck me right now.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh, like the internet.
Okay,
From
good
the
enough.
internet.
Let's move Brianna Wu and Bob Chipman.
No.
I'm not sure how the genitals would work in that situation, so I'm not going to take that.
No, that's not. Rad Fem Chan and MGTOW Kun.
No. Okay, that would be
No,
That's a hate fuck.
They
That's a hate fuck.
hate fuck. You're damn right, and they're probably going to explode the entire world in the process of hate fucking each other.
Okay, we got a couple of votes for Nigel Farage and David Cameron.
Who the fuck are they?
That's the leader of the Conservative Party and the leader of the UKIP party. It's our current Prime Minister and someone else.
Well, who wants
It's UK politics.
Jessica Valenti and Jonathan McIntosh. I could totally see that happening.
He's pegging him
all the way. He is crying, talking about what a bad misogynistic boy he is, on his knees, on all fours. It's glorious.
Yeah, I would imagine. Yeah, she would have to be a top in that relationship. I definitely do not see Jonathan McIntosh as a top.
No. Red lips, dom outfit, hair slicked back, the whole thing.
Cthulhu and Anita Sarkeesian.
Oh, we've already done that.
Well, that would explain why she no longer has a soul. He sucked it out.
Yeah, well, the thing is that she totally makes Cthulhu
through her vagina. Through her vagina. He sucked out her soul through her vagina.
That's sort of hot, actually.
There you go. See what happened. See what happened? See what happens.
Okay, Harley Quinn plus Poison Ivy. Don't throw us easy stuff, okay?
Yeah, that's way too easy.
Sarkeesian. Yeah, Anita Sarkeesian and Duke Nukem.
Blow it out your ass.
Oh my god.
I got one. Futa, Anita Sarkeesian, and Stephen Colbert.
Oh, no.
Fighting.
No.
They wouldn't get along. They'd probably angrily masturbate looking at each other, see who finishes faster.
Pillsbury Doughboy versus the Michelin Man.
Oh, no. Barbarossa and Stardust. No.
Oh, God. No. All right. Pillsbury Doughboy versus the Michelin Man.
Okay, that would be wouldn't that border on inflation porn?
Yeah, I think so. I think that would probably land firmly in that area.
Or maybe Vor if one ate the other.
Oh, goodness. Yes. Okay.
Well, wait. Can it be a
what the
three-way?
fuck is wrong with you, Internet?
Guys, can it be a three-way with the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man?
It should be always a three-way with Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Yeah, like a three. There we go.
Well, how else do you make s'mores, right? You need the you need the graham cracker and the chocolate and the marshmallow in the middle. There you go. They're delicious. Anyway, I can't eat graham crackers because they got wheat in them and I don't work really well with wheat. But I know they're delicious because I ate them once.
Kevin Strong and the Doctor. I have no idea who the fuck Kevin Strong is. But the Doctor, like, he does it in time and space, I guess. Wait, which Doctor? Are we talking about Doctor Who? Or are we talking about Dr. Random Cam?
Well,
because one is going to be a little more uncomfortable than the other, I guess.
Well, I think there's only one that Doctor, right?
For someone. I don't know.
Okay, Rule 34, Earth and Moon.
Okay. Yeah, well, the eclipse, I guess. There you go. Well...
That's a little bit too... you know what? I'm stumped on that one. Does anybody else want to jump in on that one?
Well, I mean, technically the moon is moving the tides and stuff, so...
Sounds like it could be explosive.
Yeah, I'm thinking nobody's going to survive that. But are you thinking like personifications of the Earth and the Moon? Or just the Earth and the Moon as celestial bodies? I mean, there needs to be a little more specifics here.
Didn't Greek mythology begin with the Earth and the sky? Well,
yeah. A lot of mythology begins with
no, that was
heavenly bodies. Heavenly bodies.
That was Egyptian mythology.
Yeah.
That was Egyptian mythology.
Yeah, but a lot of mythology in general involves like heavenly bodies, like banging. So,
yeah, but they're anthropomorphized heavenly bodies, which reminds me of a sort of a cross between like an art book and a comic involving a romantic relationship between Mars and the Moon, which the physical embodiments of Mars and the Moon, which was actually pretty good. I should probably find it and actually give you the people who are listening the names so you can check it out because it's pretty good and sort of sexy.
If you think
So
about it,
what's-
a lot of Greek mythology did a lot, was nothing but like shipping the different gods and gods. Well, of
Here's a good one.
course, there was violent bits in between.
Al Gore and the internet. Now, the way I see this one, I see it as the moment that Al Gore or the internet is walking out on Al Gore after, I don't know, a torrid love affair, and the internet, and Al Gore screams, "I made you what you are." This fucking 80s music playing in the background. Okay, nobody's getting it. I'm gonna just shut up now.
No, I got it. I got it. Definitely.
Like American Psycho somehow.
And a Doge and Grumpy Cat.
Doge and the Grumpy Cat.
And a Badger.
Well, okay.
And Honey.
They both share a certain ennui with reality, or a certain distaste with human existence. I think the Doge and
Grumpy Cat is tsundere, basically.
Think they're gonna sit around
Sorry, what
bitching
did
about
you
sex.
I said Grumpy Cat.
Okay, guys, one at a time.
I said Grumpy Cat is tsundere, basically, which means that it's going to be grumpy and adverse to any kind of love at first, and then it just sort of squishy on the inside, like friendly and warm on the inside. So slow to warm up to people or to warm up to things, but once you got there, they're just very warm on the inside. They're nice.
And the Doge can melt anyone's heart.
So the Doge is
but the Doge.
And the Grumpy Cat and Honey Badger are like bitching about like life and everything, being all grumpy, and then they change their mind due to Doge and it becomes an orgy. Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. But but I was thinking that maybe you could talk more on a psychological level, because I think the Doge has some skepticism about reality too. That it has this sort of surprised little bit like what the fuck annoyed face on. So I think Grumpy Cat and the Doge could bond over their mutual antipathy towards people. I don't know.
Yeah,
is that a stretch?
Pillow talk, right? After everything has happened and the smoke has cleared, and they're laying there enjoying, basking in the afterglow. They start talking about how they ended up there, and the Doge, which has an eternally pensive expression of some worry with a little contempt, and says, I don't know, like that's when they would start talking about it, like such worry, very
sarcasm.
And then a few months later, Cat Dog is born.
or Nyan Cat.
Cat Dog.
Guys,
Nyan Cat. Nyan Cat. And a few months later, Nyan Cat is born. And then the internet implodes and melts down. Okay, there was a good one here. Chester Cheetah and Laura Croft.
That is the strangest. Which Laura Croft, though? There's the Square Enix reboot or the original blue tank top?
No, the original
Jolie.
The original triangular boob,
Oh, okay.
the really polygonal Lara Croft. It's got to be.
No, they'll totally bond over like the marketing aspect of like having to be on a fuck ton of like merchandise and having to be dragged to photo shoots and all that shit for all those promos.
Yeah.
And then they pocket airport bathrooms and bars.
And Cool Spot is the voyeur that's watching them that they don't know about. You guys don't know what Cool Spot is?
Wait, wasn't that the thing on? Yeah, the
7 Up guy was like he had a video game and he was a product, so he kind of like walks both worlds,
Wait, what was that thing? The Noid or whatever. What was it called? The
Noid from Domino's Pizza. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like, that thing was creepy. Maybe like the Noid, the Little Caesar, like going at it.
Pizza.
Who you guys paired the Dell dude with?
The Dell dude?
Yeah, the Dell dude.
I don't remember.
Dude, you're getting a Dell.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Maybe that black guy from the from the GameStop commercial. Copy that.
Or the ShamWow guy. Since they both got fired for smoking pot, they could hang out together.
Yeah. Okay, next one. Sorry?
I don't
Repeat
know.
it, Anna.
I said Michael Phelps can come too because he smokes pot. Michael Phelps, the medal winner in the Olympics, the swimmer. He got busted
okay. All right.
for smoking pot.
Next rule 34. Wesley Crusher and a boulder. Can this be a snuff board? Can this be a snuff rule 34? I love you, Boulder. Crunch.
Somehow the boulder
Why did
dies.
you have to kill the boulder?
You're right. Okay. Doge cross Sargon. Doge cross lava. Doge cross O'Reilly owl. Nothing's coming to mind with that one. A girl with glasses, an orc, and a honey badger, a riot, Vivian in real life, and a dwarf.
I don't want to do one with shoe on head.
Okay, all right. We don't have to do one with shoe on here.
What about a dwarf, twin elves, and a halfling?
Captain Kirk and Will Wheaton. You mean Will Wheaton, the actor, and
No.
Kirk, the character?
Will Wheaton and Shatner, not Kirk. Shatner.
William Shatner.
Priceline.
Okay, all right. Well, how could we stop Shatner from just slapping Will Wheaton?
What about Shatner and I guess the like
Why
that
would we stop?
Travelocity gnome or whatever was it, like the roaming gnome?
The roaming gnome. I'm reading the suggestions in chat. Don't give new ones. Shh.
No.
Ah,
All
shut
of
up,
the
you.
Peppies.
All of the Peppies. Wharf cross Teletubbies.
No.
Oh.
No. We draw the line. There has to be a
We draw the line at Teletubbies, damn it.
Oh, here's a good one. This is one that I can sort of get behind. I can sort of see it.
It's actually behind it, Allison, with a strap on.
I'm sure you would get behind it. Oh yeah, right behind it.
Obama and Putin.
Oh, you know.
Oh, God.
You know.
You know that Putin would be the top, so he has to be listed first.
Okay, so
Putin,
Obama.
Not gay.
Guys.
Obama, he's strapped to a swing. That swing is chained to the back wall. It's got a ball gag in, obviously. Oh, the whole works. Putin comes in, completely naked apart from a codpiece. A black Russian, obviously. Got a huge pile of shit in his left hand. And he looks up at Obama. Says, "You know where I got this?" And Obama says, "No, I don't."
How can you talk through the ball gag there, Mike?
Someone else take over. I've run out of ideas.
All right.
It's like, well, you know, he's thinking in his mind, you know I don't. And then, I don't know.
What a tease.
Okay, I'm sorry. I screwed this up by introducing reality. But maybe we have the ball
keep
gag
going,
isn't
please.
in. It isn't in Obama's mouth just yet, but it will be in the future. Okay, so he can talk. Did you want to continue, Mike?
Please.
I didn't think much further than that.
That was a cock tease, though, and you know it. Stopping right there when the action builds up.
Where did he get the poop from?
The question is, what did he get the poop from?
What did he get the poop from, and what is he going to do with it?
Bear, obviously.
A bear. Okay, so what is the setting?
It's either
Obama is strapped into some sort of sex swing.
And then he and then he.
No, I know where he got it. Putin, after he fucked Hillary Clinton, he got her to shit in.
Yeah, but she's not a bear.
Well, no, she's not.
Wait, guys, I got this.
Wait. Maybe she was menstruating in the woods, and then the bear came.
And Putin defended her with his mighty hard-on. It's true.
Okay, all right, but then he's also getting his red wings as he's defending Hillary from a bear, and then later on
he got scared and shit in his hand, and he's like, "Well, might as well use this." Hey, Obama.
Okay.
Oh my God,
wait, I got this. Okay.
Try to decipher our politics out of
this.
First I decipher our politics from what we've just said. You realize that? Okay, go ahead.
I got this. Okay, and it's not political. So Putin says do you know where I got this from? And Obama is like, you know fucking well I have no idea where you got it from. And he's like, well, and then at that moment he goes from behind an area that is just out of sight and pulls on what appears to be a leash, and a bear slowly follows behind him. This bear. And so Putin, he says, she's in heat. And the horror sweeps over Obama's face as Putin proceeds to start fucking the bear. To start fucking the bear.
Are you gonna have a major penetrate rape of Obama by a bear?
Yes.
Oh god, this is sick.
I like your honesty. I do.
I thought she was going to pull out Hillary Clinton. But
So after he starts fucking the bear, he pulls in Obama on a leash and then makes sure that he's on the bottom. So the bear starts going to town on Obama while Putin continues to go up to town on the bear. So it's Putin on bear. So it's Putin on bear on. Well, the bear is raping Obama.
Well, we started with Obama and Putin, and somehow we ended up with Hillary Clinton and a bear. I like where that's going.
Okay, all right. Okay,
it was between Hillary Clinton and a bear.
And then at one point, suddenly, Hillary Clinton descends down the staircase to find that he has not been transported to some weird part of Russia. He's been in the White House all the time.
All right. Okay, so where do we go from here?
I have no idea.
I got it.
You're saying it was the mindfuck, Rachel? It was a total mindfuck. He was in the White House the whole time.
Doge.
Wait a second. Maybe this is a legitimate scene. Maybe there's a safe word that Obama and Putin have created beforehand, and Obama's actually into all of this.
Obviously.
I know.
Which I think actually makes it worse.
Steel beams. Is that the one? Is that the safe word?
I think it's bananas.
Steel beams.
Yeah.
Steel beam?
No.
I have exclusive information from the KGB. It's actually bananas. He really likes the Russian accent when he says it. Bananas.
Wait, how do you know stuff about the KGB? Like, I know you're Russian, but...
You know what Putin has to say when he's bringing out the horny bear to rape Obama? Get ready to receive Mother Russia.
Or from Mother Russia with love.
From Russia with love.
I will break you.
I must break you. No, man.
Okay. Alright.
In Mother Russia, the bear shits in you.
In Soviet Russia.
What about somebody said Doge and Sarah Butts? Or is that really not?
No. Oh, dude, okay. Well, actually, she's well, we do know that she has admitted at least to what she has been accused of in the past in different posts on forums. So yeah. Oh, I believe it was her forum too. So.
I don't want to go with Butts. I don't think she has enough of a sense of humor.
Yeah, that's
to really
true.
Do anything
really
but like get totally
back to
freaked out about it.
The
Yeah, Karl Marx and Bernard Chapin.
The safe
Oh,
word should
no.
be perestroika because Obama can never pronounce that. It'll take him forever to pronounce that with a ball gag. That's a great idea. That's a lot of confidence in a row. Americans have a hard time with that. Like
Ben Franklin and Genghis Khan.
That would be impossible. Okay.
Rasputin and Anita. You know, it's not supposed to be. We're not supposed
they
to
talk
judge
strategy
the-
all night, I tell you.
Well, it would be easier to.
Okay, Walt Disney and Miyazaki.
Hayao Miyazaki. Oh gosh, that's.
All of
That
the
could work.
lords.
All
Wow.
of the accent overlord. My mind went there instantly. Of course, I didn't really have a plot. I just had a scene.
It's the accent's fucking, really. I mean, that's all we care about.
I'm breathing heavy.
I think that's canon. actually.
Heavy breathing.
Yeah,
intensifies.
Yeah.
That would make it canon.
That is a canon. It's
That'll
about to
make
go
it
off.
canon. Okay. We finally got to the end. TJ, Karen, Strawn, and Allison. No. At least
No?
not while I'm in the room.
So we're finally shipping the people in this very panel. It took a long time, you guys.
Yeah. Well,
Why did you wait so
Karen
long?
isn't actually in the panel.
Karen
Karen
Strong.
isn't actually in the panel.
Should me and Karen, but she's not here, so that's sad.
Yeah, well, I mean, she usually doesn't really come for the Tuesdays and Mondays, but if she was here, she probably would start making up that story just to make me feel uncomfortable. 'Cause that's what she does.
I wonder if they already ship us. No, I wonder if they're
Probably.
already. Yeah.
Yes.
But who do they ship?
Probably.
Here's the question. Who are they shipping?
Probably Karen with everyone, really.
Yeah, Karen with everyone.
Probably.
I don't
Captain
know.
America and Captain Britain. Oh, Tony Stark in his suit. I mean, that's canon, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, we all know
There's
the
a
suit does
special
more
place
by
In the
crime.
suit for his penis. Makes him feel good. It's like a fleshlight.
Sage and Mike's hat.
No one involved.
Yes, they do.
Hannah
King
and Rachel.
Charles.
Names are hard to get out, you guys.
There's one in here that's Hannah and Rachel. You guys did
Huh.
share a bed while we were in Calgary, right?
And they also hot grape Mike.
I was wondering if they'd remember that kiss. I guess they do.
Yes, we hug raped Mike.
It was a German way to say hello. That's what a German girl told me. I don't know if she was lying or not, but yeah, a thing.
Yeah. So there we go. There's things.
All right. So shall we continue with the silliness, or shall we say?
Well, we can actually talk about how this is really sort of changing the way that creators go about doing this stuff, because now they know about the fan communities, and sometimes they
Okay, all
actually
right, guys.
go into the fan
Guys?
Yes.
All right. Let's let Rachel talk, because she's sounding like she has something legitimate to say as opposed to just funny bullshit.
Yeah, well, this is an interesting thing to think about, because now that you have the internet and now that creators are aware of these communities, they are descending into them to get sort of feedback. And to be honest, sometimes these communities have like really, really bad ideas that don't really make any sense. And so they just kind of indulge it a bit, or they're more likely to sort of give like hints and stuff to bring about fan service, or to get people to ship things. You know what I'm saying? It's more indulged now than it was in the past. Like, I mean, Penny Dreadful as a series is very much like that. That there's enough there for people to really start shipping, and it's almost like they're trying to, like, are they going to end up together? Aren't they? Could they be having a romantic interest there beyond that? I don't know. Like, early on, it was almost implied in certain situations that certain things might be. But then there are other situations, like even cartoon shows, like where it's not necessarily pushing a sexual relationship, but giving hints enough to fans that this might become a thing, or you know what I mean? They're talking to their fans a lot more, and in some ways that's a good thing, and in some ways it's a bad thing, because they might stray away from what makes more logical sense with their characters, because they know more about what's going to happen with the characters than you do.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an interesting thing to think about, and some writers and creators are really they jealously guard like all of their stuff. Like, they will straight up talk to like fanfiction.net and say, you need to delete anything written about my characters, period. I think Anne Rice is one of them. George R. R. Martin is another. There's some others that are really big about that. That if it exists on the internet, they will go out of their way to try and talk to people who host these fanfiction sites and tell them, like, you can't do this. So, I don't know. It's kind of a mixed bag. But when it gets like this, it's kind of, in some ways, it's frustrating for me. In some ways, I kind of like it. It depends.
Yeah.
I think it also, I think that in some ways, though, it gives, like, there's a bit of a license for writers that actually make, like, television and film. Not, let's say a license, but they use this stuff to be a bit lazy. Like, they look at what the internet thinks it wants based on the few people who are talking about it, and they just give them that without really, like, thinking about, like, whether or not it's actually good for the story, if it really makes sense, and so on. And that's how you got, like, you meant, like, that's how 50 Shades of Grey, ended up being, like, a book series and in theaters and all that. And it's being, I mean, granted, it doesn't mean that it wasn't in some way worthy of merit, because there's millions of people who read it and they like it.
Well, no, it really sucks. And it really was.
No, I'm sure, and I don't think it's good, but it's popular. So, I mean, that's kind of hard to deny. And also, like, you have the changes that people made, like, with well, I mean, I didn't watch Legend of Korra, but that Korrasami thing that happened, that some people have a big issue with, but I think that there's, where do they get that from? Well, they saw it on Tumblr, I guess. People were shipping characters, and they thought, oh, we'll do that. And then people still hold on to hope for weird things, like with Doctor Who fandom, and within, like, other sort of series, and like, I think that the stuff that happened in the last Avengers movie, where they paired up the Black Widow and Bruce Banner, was could have been influenced by that, because in my opinion, that not only is that relationship impossible to maintain, it really didn't feel believable. It felt like it was just kind of tacked on because some people saw what appeared to be chemistry in the first film and thought they should be together. I think they should be together, and they're just sort of reacting to that, and it's sort of like, why don't you guys think this through? Black Widow would not survive the first night, guys. She's just a human. She wouldn't survive. Just saying.
When you
Hulk would kill her.
You take two characters that have a tension like that, or you have a chemistry or a sexual tension. A lot of times, it used to be that would drive a story's continuance. That it would. A lot of television series, a lot of, like, the more dramatic television series had that, where there would be characters with a sexual tension that would dance all the way around relationship status and dance all the way around actually engaging with each other sexually, but not do it. And it kept the audience engaged. And you see that in a lot of anime series where the same thing happens. They dance all the way around it, but they don't actually do it. And it keeps the audience engaged. And if you actually go through with it in the story, it actually destroys the story. It takes away from that tension. It takes the chemistry out of it. And anything after that is anticlimactic. And you end up losing a very valuable means by which you keep your audience engaged, because they're constantly looking for the next little hint, and now there's no next little hint because it already happened.
I agree. I was just going to say that another good example of that, well, first, there's two things. If you watched television before the internet had any influence, before the internet existed, and you had shows that were, like, dancing around this will they, won't they kind of thing, even if you were, as a viewer, were pretty much, like, in tune and you knew it was going to happen eventually, or you figured it was, you were excited to keep watching because you wanted to know how it was going to happen, right? But the audience didn't really have control. They had no control over whether or not it was going to happen. Like, they could talk about it and, like, with their friends and write in to magazines or whatever and express, like, the desire, but it never influenced the writers in a significant and obvious way. And another thing is that you're right, Hannah. Like, if they do it, something becomes lost. Like the show The X-Files. In The X-Files, Scully and Mulder were that kind of couple where you're like, are they going to get together? Are they going to get together? But if they ever did, then, like, a good chunk of the reason why people watched would immediately become less interesting because they're like, oh yeah, they got together, you know.
I have to agree with Brian in that they have nowadays. It kind of bores me to tears how in like Guardians of the Galaxy or like any other show they're like, but I love you at like the end of this hour and like they kiss and it's amazing. I'm like, oh my god, do we have to do that like every time? Why? Why does every blockbuster have to have the explosions? Have to have the kiss? Have to have this sad Groot moment? Have to? It's like they're trying to pack so much nowadays into one small fast movie and that it kind of loses its depth
Yeah, I think that's the side effect of when you try to make a film and you try to appeal to as many people as possible. So you try to have everything. You want to have the action, you want to have the romance, you want to have the drama, you want to have the build-up, you want to have a world, you want to do some world building, you want to do everything. And the problem is that in trying to appeal to everyone, you end up having to include everything in the film or in this property. And yes, it does bore people because there are many films and like shows and stuff from the 80s where you had couples that never actually got together, or they didn't get together right away, like they would do it over a longer period of time, or unexpected things would happen because the writers at the time, they weren't concerned as much with making sure that it has enough romance, action, storytelling, world building to satisfy everybody the way that they do it now. I think that now it all feels really formulaic for that reason.
And also, I realize that I guess a bigger sin, or I guess a deeper root of the problem, to me, is they don't write quality, subtle back and forth relationship that's interwoven through the storyline. They do this like these people work side by side while barely exchanging any dialogue, and then they kiss. You're like, what? There's really very kind of, I guess, clumsy and over the top like stamped writing, as it's not real, and it kind of is almost jarring because there is no build up to it that's decent. It's just like kind of thrown in at the end, like a big reveal, ta-da moment. But how many of those can we have until we're like, okay, we get it, it's great. We're not here for the magic show. How about you telling me like an interesting story about people that you can see their relationship building or being strong all throughout the motherfucker? Like, why do we need that kiss? That's a lame way to signify that they're together. You can make it smarter.
Essentially, yeah, it's like shorthand, essentially. Just to like get, and that's again, it's sort of like, it's like spoon feeding the audience. Like, you want that here, they're together now, and it kind of falls flat. There are people in the chat that are like, what does this got to do with Rule 34? I think that it's basically showing, we're talking about how Rule 34 and like how people write slash fiction and stuff and shipping characters has influenced actual mainstream writing and and storytelling. I think
for the worse.
For the worse, for better or worse, but more often than not, it appears to be for worse.
Yeah. Because you're starting to take the only place I think it might have been for better would have been Avatar, like the animated series, if they had actually listened to the fans and not attempted to slam Aang and Katara down everyone's throats. Although, to be honest, when I saw them...
When they Aang and Toph, like, come on, you guys.
Yeah, or anything but Aang and Katara.
Swear to God.
When I saw them as adults, it was more believable to me, but why couldn't they have just let that be open? Let just be an open question. Why did they have to discover their great love at the age of, 12? Like, really? Anyway. But if they had actually, listened to people who were against that pairing, it might have... Generally, the audience is right when a pairing isn't working, but they're not right when they obsess about a pairing. It's like editing is the process of cutting things out, not putting more things in. When the audience says no, they're generally right. When the audience tries to push a pairing on, they're generally wrong, in my experience. But that's how it relates to Rule 34, the fact that the audience will pair anybody, anyone they think that has a spark. And it's not necessarily the best thing for the story, and creators really shouldn't listen necessarily to that and try to pander to the audience. And Brian.
Someone in the chat said everyone fucks everyone and they live happily ever after. I just wanted to add to that and say, isn't that what Farscape was?
Yeah, sort of. Maybe a little. Okay. Shall we end it?
Yes. Do we want to
Yeah.
make any statements before we end
I
it?
don't know.
Well,
No
I'd like
exceptions.
no exceptions, yeah. I'd like to make a statement about just writing romance into a story, period. Because I find that a lot of it, like you're right, when people, they create this tension between two characters, but there's nothing else but the sexual tension. And the way that I've approached writing romance in my stories is, can I take these two characters who have a sexual interest in each other, remove the sexual interest, and put these two characters in a buddy cop movie, and would it still work? And if it does, then I think that's a good romance. That you can add in the sexual tension to that and have something that works without the sexual tension. And then when they do get together, they still have that repartee that the buddy cops have that makes the relationship interesting. And I think in a lot of cases, Rule 34 runs on novelty and not true depth of the feels and the character chemistry. So listening to fans who've created a Rule 34 is not a good idea. But anyway, that's my thoughts. Anybody else want to take a stab at the final?
No, I think that Rule 34 is a fun little escape experiment that people do. That's why a lot of the pairings, or even like people who are characters that are just sort of doing things on their own, is interesting, can be entertaining. For some people, it can be a turn on. But is it good storytelling? No, I don't think they're even thinking that far. I think they just want to know what Velma looks like with no clothes on, and that's all.
Yeah. Okay, somebody in chat is saying Bill Gates and Steve Jobs. Again, don't go with the canon. Don't go with the stuff that's actually happened. I mean, seriously, guys. You can't rule 34 people who actually have fucked.
Yeah, it's got to be like Bill Gates and the Linux Penguin.
Yeah.
Wait. Bill Gates and Steve Jobs.
Okay, and that's the end of the show. All right. Good night, everybody. Good night.